what did it take to convince clients?
Anybody can move a box from point A to point B, but to show them that there's somebody who can look into it, arrives on time, gets delivered. So all the entire supply chain gamut can be well managed and maintained by them.
Mr. Sundreysh Sarup, who is a leader who has redefined what logistics means for India's industrial growth. And as the managing director of Logistics Plus India, he has reshaped the entire project cargo landscape in India, carrying the heaviest, most complex shipments across the globe. When you stepped into the role of managing director for Logistics Plus, what is the vision that you set for the company?
Over years, the industry has been changing overthrough. We always wanted to break those traditional ways of doing businesses by incorporating what new can be done.
Through this entire journey, there must have been those nail-biting moments where things could go wrong, but they didn't.
There's one which certainly strikes and can never go off my memory. Way back in 2013, there was a debacle at the Kedarnath shrine. You could see trucks and buses going down the water. In logistics, as we say, anything can happen. So we had taken up a big crane from Dehradun, deployed it in Sundreysh to offload the material from the trucks to put it on the ground. Crane broke. India's first steel ready-made structure bridge. It took some time, but I think today, very proudly, I can say that people look at logistics as really one of the key industries.
Think about how the world moves, not just people and products, but entire industries. We're talking about every aircraft, every turbine, every refinery. It has a story of movement behind it. We're talking about the logistics industry, which is valued at about $228 billion in 2024, projected at $429 billion by 2033. Here we are at Build with Shreya, where ideas and stories inspire you to build something extraordinary. Today I'm talking with Mr. Sundreysh Sarup, who is a leader who has redefined what logistics means for India's industrial growth. He has also served as the industrial co-chair for the US-India Aviation Cooperation Program, that is bridging the public-private sectors, strengthening the trade, aviation, and infrastructure. But what really stands out is his balance. A leader who runs marathons, plays the tabla, and believes that discipline in life translates into excellence at work. So without further ado, let's welcome Sundreysh Sarup to Build with Shreya. So welcome to Build with Shreya, Mr. Sundreysh. It's great to have you on the podcast.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me over.
So you entered the field of logistics when it wasn't that glamorous. There were no digital dashboards, no tech automations. It was all about grit and execution at that point. So I always wonder what draws one to a field which has very little spotlight, but a lot of precision. So tell me about what drew you to freight and logistics in the first place.
Well, that's a good and interesting question. I certainly never thought as much that, what this field is all about. And then you took a decision at that point of time, because this is way back in 1992 that I joined the industry, actually 91. What drew me was primarily my love for aircrafts. I love aircrafts, and till date I can spot and identify, probably tell you the aircraft make and the airline when they're flying up in the air at whatever feet, and I can see them clearly. So that attracted me, and somebody told me that, okay, you can't be part of an airline, but you can be part of a cargo company, which is a large American multinational who had come in at that time in India. And तो मैंने उनसे ये पूछा था कि यार एयरपोर्ट भेजेंगे? Will I be next to an aircraft? They said yes, because the same aircraft in which you and I fly also carries cargo. And that's what got me to start within the industry. And I didn't know anything what it really means, what it is. I think just with the thought I came in. So yeah, that's where it is. But over time, it changed everything.
So I imagine building trust in a field that's as complex as logistics with clients when professional logistics management wasn't a thing of the day. Correct. What did it take to convince clients in terms of value that they can get out of professional logistics, and why they should partner with a company like yours?
Absolutely. Again, a good question, Shreya. Primarily, I think logistics is all about time management, time criticality. So over years, I think people it took them a lot of time for us to convince them that, what really and what importance they should give to a logistics company and what all the logistics company can provide. Anybody can move a box from point A to point B. And since we do international logistics, it involves customs at both sides of the countries, moving around the freight in various modes and methodologies across. Uh, but to show them that there's somebody who can look into it and show that it arrives on time, gets delivered. So all the entire supply chain gamut can be well managed and maintained by them. It took some time, but I think today, very proudly, I can say that people look at logistics as really one of the key industries and an important factor for any of a production manufacturing company or anybody exporting or importing anything. They realize how important and good it is.
And you've spent like nearly 3 decades in this industry.
A lower, yeah.
So there must be a moment where it was more than a career to you, and you had a long-term calling to the industry. So
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
us about that. When did that happen?
Very good question again. I think it happened along with the job. I was originally in operations, then I moved to sales. But I think I started seeing that we were moving almost everything. And what intrigued me was that I got to see how things are made. For example, I still remember we had a client called Konica, and they used to make these, those film rolls which used to come. Now that we have digital cameras.
No, but I remember I was as a little child.
Yeah.
My father would have this box of those rolls.
Those rolls, yeah.
Yes, and I used to play with them all the
So
time.
they were my clients, and I ended up seeing in a dark room the process we used to import rolls, and those rolls were called as jumbo rolls. Why jumbo? Simply because they were the size of an elephant, and that's what we were moving it by air freight for them from Japan. And then in a processed environment, the same jumbo roll will go at one side in an assembly line and come out exactly packed in the shape that you and I buy from the market. And I said, wow. And of course, those days ties were in big fashion. So saw our client, saw the whole process, how a tie is made, from a shirt to a shoe to a belt to anything which probably computers had come in, import of semiconductors, then pharmaceutical, medicines, devices. And then I realized there's nothing which of an industry which I have never seen. So that really intrigued me and then got me really hooked onto it because I think moving every consignment had its own challenges. Until date remains the same. You move certain pharmaceutical which goes at a certain X temperature control, you need to maintain the temperature.
Yes.
Certain perishables you move. For example, the world's best cheese, which is now at the beck and call of an app today, at times was just available at a point of time, but it had to be fresh. Perishable also includes newspapers. Perishable also includes magazines, fashion. Uh, for designers, I think if the fashion is goes, a season changes if it's not in the market. So I think every product that we have moved over years had its own shelf life, and we had to work around it, offer solutions accordingly, and that was really intriguing and challenging. So it really worked it up through.
That's what fascinates me about logistics plus. In a time when the industry is actually chasing volumes,
Yeah.
logistics plus focused on the complexity.
Correct.
Complex projects, heavy lifts, precision operations.
Absolutely.
So what is that inspiration for logistics plus to stick to complexity rather than just chasing scale?
As I say, you can be one of the many, or you can build something which is very different. This tougher businesses to move larger projects to handle needs a lot of thinking, a lot of creative mindset, a lot of strategically planning. And I think people shy away from that because I think it's quick money doing the smaller things and closing it at it. So I think it was always a decision to see where more engineering comes into being, more thought processes come into being, and that's what really got us excited. Also, it's a little bit of a niche area, so your margins are better there. Don't want to hide that fact, but certainly it has always been more challenging to handle such projects. So yeah, that's what got us there.
And so my next question is like, when you stepped into the role of managing director for Logistics Plus, what is the vision that you set for the company?
We wanted to revolutionize the industry by, I think, breaking barriers or breaking some certain traditional way of doing things, traditional way of looking at things. Because I think way back when you look at it, everything was, of course, documented. It was all handwritten, handmade, and over years the industry has been, changing over through. We always wanted to break those traditional ways of doing businesses by incorporating what new can be done. What new? So when I think many years back, something started as a one window solution. So we could just handle everything, try and see can we give them everything in one window solution. And I think today also, while we handle project cargo, we also handle general freight. We are also pretty big in the express vertical. We work a lot with FedEx on that, just to ensure that if I walk into your office and you have a courier to move, from a large box to move to a large project to move, we are all there for you. So we handle everything. Yeah, that's what it is.
And if I talk about project cargo, you talk about it like it's an art.
Yes,
And honestly, it is,
it
like
is.
moving a turbine, oil
Oh
rig.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not just transportation.
yeah, yeah.
It is a complete orchestration. It's a team sport where
Correct.
there's
Oh,
no
it's a big
room
team
for
sport.
error,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So I'm sure, through this entire journey, there must have been those nail biting moments
Yes.
where, things could go wrong, but they didn't. If you could tell our audience a little bit about them and how you sort of sought through and fought through them.
Many, many interesting projects that we have handled, but I think there's one which certainly strikes and can never go off my memory. I think if we all remember way back in 2013, there was a debacle at the Kedarnath shrine with the cloudburst. That led to a lot of water coming through. In fact, Kedarnath shrine itself got saved. But down the line, there's a village called or a city called Sonprayag, where a bridge had washed away. And if you have any recollections of any of those images and the videos being played on the TV news, you could see trucks and buses going down the water. So I think our government at that point of time decided to award a contract to an American company to give a ready-made steel structure bridge, because that was a lifeline to go up to Kedarnath shrine. After that debacle, all the devotees could not visit the shrine from Sonprayag because this, the river was here. You go from here, and you could go to the other side of the mountain and then go up. You just couldn't. So the journey was halted for many years. And when this project came, that company chose us to handle it. So not just, I think, bringing the whole steel bridge from there, but also to have it installed in Sonprayag, where there are almost zero facilities, was quite challenging. So we brought it up to Delhi. I did multiple trips, and I mean, must tell you that it would take me 3 days to do probably 1 hour meeting in Sonprayag. I'll have to fly from here to Dehradun, stay the night, leave early morning at 5 to reach Sonprayag by about noon or maybe 1 p.m. just to have a 1 hour meeting, no place to eat, no place to stay, and then drive back the night in to Dehradun, stay the night again because you reach very late, and then next day morning probably take a flight back to Delhi. And then we identified, of course, with the help of the local government, local police, a dry riverbed in Rishikesh, where we brought this into big containers, offloaded it there, made it as a base camp, and then we made up a base camp at the other side. The most interesting part was the customer told us that you have to give it to the other side of the river,
Oh my
and
God.
there was no bridge. And I said, well, how do my trucks go? So we did surveys. They cut. Of course, there was a big support by BSF, BRO actually, Border Road Organization, who cut certain parts where I told them the trucks can only go from here.
Mhm.
So we had to offload the bigger trucks materials down at Rishikesh, put into smaller trucks, then take road permissions because most of the hill stations, that main road is a mall road.
Yeah.
मंडी भी वहीं लगती है, सब्जी भी वहीं बिकती है, लोग भी वहीं चलते हैं. To move a lot of such trucks like a convoy was very difficult. And night driving at times is not allowed. So we had to take special police permissions to move this through and then get it done. But the success of the story is we had the bridge installed. Other side we delivered with the camp office. And of course, every shit happens in logistics. As we say, anything can happen. So we had taken up a big crane from Dehradun, deployed it in Sonprayag to offload the material from the trucks to put it on the ground. The crane broke in the middle of operations. We had to send another one from down. So everything is challenging. But today I'm very proud of the fact that anybody passing through that India's first steel ready-made structure bridge is built by Logistics Plus very proudly. One of the
Wow,
key. So,
that's
so the fun of even remembering a journey we took almost 10 years back. I think this is in 2017 that we did it, or 16, 17, something like that. It just is fresh in all our team members. There's a big team in Sonprayag station, big team in stationed in Rishikesh, and of course Delhi office just coordinating everything. So it was quite a challenging task, day, night. It's just beautiful.
definitely, one of those
Correct.
nail-biting moments. But
Yeah.
I'm sure this is just one of them.
One of
There,
them.
there must be many.
Oh yeah, there are many like that. Yeah.
And if I talk about your industry, it has evolved a lot. It
yeah.
has come a long way from having paper manifests to phone calls
yeah.
and to IoT sensors, AI-driven route planning,
Correct.
and precision analytics, and all of
Correct.
that. From an industry that used to work based on intent, it is now moving on intelligence.
Correct.
So how do you see digital transformation working for a company like yours, especially with the managing operations on the grounds?
Always, technology is always an enabler for us. So there were days that you could not know. So we put up a container, say in New York, which is destined for Nava Shiva. All what we know that, okay, the vessel's going to take 45 days or 50 days to come, and you had no idea what's happened in high seas with the vessel, with the ship, with your container. But today, everything is digitally aligned to you. So whether it's tracking, tracing, mapping, understanding, even loadability. I mean, AI helps us plan better, load better. You just put in the dimensions, and the system will just tell you, okay, load this, load this, load this, and basically optimizing the available space. So it's certainly been a great enabler for us in the industry over years. And of course, everything was documented, handwritten, mistakes, human errors. All that's now getting eliminated.
So I sometimes wonder, like with AI and technology, it is definitely an enabler, but also challenging at the same time
Yes.
because it does create distance between people on ground and processes. So how do you see technology? Like, do you think overall it is an enabler, or do you think a lot of dependency on technology can actually inhibit most of the in-person interactions?
I think it's a mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way, Shreya. If you do this podcast online, it may or may not have the same feel. So
I never do an online one.
Sorry?
For the same reason. I do not do an online one. For the
Exactly.
same reason. Yeah.
So the point is, the physical connect is very important, and I think that's where I certainly disregard the online process. But I think over times it has also taught us that it's okay. People can be busy wherever in whichever part of the world. You can yet get connected. So it's a good and a bad. So it's a mix of both. But I think in our industry, we continue thriving using both the methodologies. Wherever online, otherwise wherever physical presence is present. And also, if I go and talk to a customer physically for whatever count of reason, we're able to convince them a little more better than just doing an online call.
So every few months, a new technology is coming in, whether it is drone delivery, AI-based automation, or predictive analytics. And some of them, beyond the hype, have a huge scope of reshaping the entire industry.
Absolutely.
So which are some of the upcoming technologies that you're really rooting for and you feel can reshape the world of logistics?
I think delivery by drones is a very, very big thing. And not just drones, there will be, I think, different modes and transportation solutions which will keep coming up. It really excites us. It reduces our time further, reduces more manpower, and probably gives better and faster deliveries. So certainly, and why not? So I think that's, again, when we started off, you asked me a question on what excites you in the industry. Such technologies, such development, such things going forward really excites me, because what we probably did many years back, I can't just tell my colleagues, oh, mere ko to sab aata hai, 30 saal se kar raha hu. But that doesn't make it. I need to learn. We all need to relearn every time and keeps continue going. So I think drone will be certainly an enabler and a big changer. in coming days. And drones are now really getting big, and I've seen some demonstration lately. They are now getting bigger in this thing. So I think India is just looking at uh, finding out some space management in terms of airspace controls, tracking, tracing, so that it doesn't interfere with, say, an armed this thing. But see, look at army. They're using the same drones.
Mhm.
They're carrying weapons across enemy territories and then making use of it, and drone goes and comes back. So it's no longer just a drone with a camera which just goes there and takes a picture and comes back. Now drone attacks are getting more and more common. So, but whilst that's a military side of the story, but on the civilian side, I think it's more of an enabler that eventually far-fetched areas where you need certain vial of a medicine for a patient who's dying, it's very critical. And I think probably no better road infrastructure or anything else can improve than just the way a quick delivery by a drone can happen. So it'll certainly be an enabler for sure.
So I've always found logistics to be very fascinating
It
because
is
it sits right at the intersection of commerce and climate.
correct.
Right. So with every delivery, there's a footprint.
Yeah.
But with what we are seeing is every footprint is now turning into a blueprint for sustainability.
Correct.
So I want to understand what is your perception around blockchain for logistics, especially because it sort of sets the foundation for also measuring the carbon footprints for sustainability.
So blockchain certainly has been in cargo for some time now, and it's really impacting and infecting. And on the green side, there are many methodologies. For example, very interesting story. One of our clients removes plastics from the ocean, and then they make pallets out of those plastics. We buy the pallets from them. So they are my clients, where I give them equipment when they need it, some part of the ocean that they're cleaning on a day. But when they build a final product from the waste that they took out from the ocean, we buy those pallets and use it. So I think it's a win-win, and certainly it saves the environment a lot more than where we are going. So yeah, green is certainly the way going forward. Yeah.
And if we talk about some of these initiatives to become green, companies who are even experimenting with one of them, let's say replacing their fleet with the EV
Yeah,
fleet, are
absolutely.
seeing a lot of change when it
Correct.
comes to sustainability. So, which initiatives are close to your heart and you feel can really transform and make the entire logistics supply chain more green?
Uh, the closest to my heart probably will again be coming from a passion for aircrafts. Today we are talking of SAF, which is sustainable aviation fuel. It's already in the rolls. Certain cargo carriers are already using it as an airlines. FedEx uses it a lot. It's a little expensive as yet as compared to regular fuel, but the carbon burn that an airline does on any route that they are flying versus sustainable aviation fuel, it's going to be really thing. So I personally feel that maybe yeah, some more time that we really reach that level, but eventually we will. So sustainable aviation fuel, of course, greener trucks. We see in our cities now we have green trucks flying all through. Most of our home deliveries, even by an Amazon or any of the e-commerce companies, are probably using an e-com vehicle coming into your city, which I think makes so much sense, especially in a country like India, more so place like Delhi, which is ever polluted around this time of the year for sure. All this helps in every which way. So yeah, these are two key things which are going to be there.
So I'm going to step a little back
Oh yeah.
into 2020, when the pandemic hit
Oh,
and logistics suddenly became the obsession for everyone.
correct.
And everybody sort of understood how critical
Yes.
logistics can be, especially when borders close and, how to make movement possible in such scenarios. So tell us about those early months during the pandemic, how you dealt with them as a team, as Logistics Plus coming
Yeah.
together, and how.
Very exciting times, and I started off probably first few days or first few weeks to understand what is it, because we had never seen the world shutting down at the same time. It was never restricted to one small town or part or things like that. The whole global, and so very scared times. But at the same time, I remember having meetings done uh, at the ministry level, at the government level, at the airport level, to say that we must come up together because this will be the lifeline. because the COVID vaccines were the first ones as a priority, and it had to move by air, and logistics companies are the ones who could do that. So yeah, we gathered, and probably that's the time we all learned the value of a Zoom or a Teams call, because prior to that, okay, it was there, but then now we realize, oh, nobody can come, but you could still do it. Uh, Being a logistics company, I think also, I remember I'm one of the first. I mean, most people from my industry had the travel passes. So stay in Gurgaon to go to Delhi airport. I had a pass from Gurgaon, Haryana government, and also by the Delhi government. So my car could travel anywhere. While it was fun, also at times on an empty road, I'm the only guy going to the airport and coming back, but it was very scary too.
Yeah.
Extremely scary. But I think it was very challenging times, and I think our teams really lived up to it. Uh, we got calls from unknown sources who had some connect, sourced our number from somewhere or the other, and said, we need help. And trust me, I think the whole plethora of agencies came together to help exporters, because they would have died with orders missing, deadlines, payments not coming in through. And people had a lot of fears, Money was a big fear. Health, of course, people didn't know what's really happening. But I think the whole industry, actually, not just us, came up together at that point of time. It really helped everybody. So, and we also learned a lot during that phase. Yeah.
And I think these are the moments where, leadership plays a really big role. And
Correct.
you've all often been described as a very calm, very patient, very grounded leader who brings order to the chaos. So tell us about your philosophy around your leadership style, and what are the principles that you follow to lead teams, ensuring operational excellence, as well as bringing in the emotional intelligence that's often important.
Well, there's nothing like this. I think it's to be as simple as that. I think I'd heard a saying long back which said that a shepherd walks with the flock and doesn't shout instructions from the hill. So I think once you go along with the teams and walk the same path, you're able to protect them, you're able to lead them, you're able to direct them. So I'm one of the flock myself. I'm part of that. And I think that's the zone where the flock starts to trust you then, because you're walking with them. Mm-hmm. You're seeing the same challenges that they are facing. So I think leadership is nothing but being around with the team, giving them the trust. Okay, I'm taking the first step, but you're all right there with me. So I think that's there certainly. Being humble, humility always plays a big role. So yeah, I think that's all what I've been doing. Nothing great.
So I've always believed that great leaders not only manage their time but manage their energy as well. And you have keen interest in running. Do you think that has played a role in how you approach your work, how you lead, how you sort of operationally manage things? Do you think that influences how you operate?
Certainly, yes. I think when I started running and it started off, say, with a kilometer or whatever, to whatever distances that I've done, it was always the me time. It was always the thought process, because if you're running for, say, 3 hours, 4 hours nonstop, or 2 hours nonstop, enough and more time to be with you and your thoughts and control it. But I think God has been kind. I do have a schedule every day for many, many years. I do wake up, I do sit for my meditations to calm me down, and then I used to do a lot of running. For a certain time, because of certain injuries that I got, I kind of stopped running, but I've been post that getting into some zone. So I've been cycling, then I do tennis. Now I play tennis very regularly. The point is to just burn it out, and whatever you have through the day, you can just take it out very quickly by doing some kind of a sport, some kind of an activity. It's always important. So, yeah.
So India's logistics scene is changing super fast. We are going from smart ports to digital freight corridors. So it's not about just moving goods anymore. It's really around growing as a nation. So what do you think could be the backbone of building a $10 trillion economy that we want to reach, especially taking logistics with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there is a vision and dream by our Prime Minister too, and I think the entire bodies of system are really working up through. So when I say logistics was not looked into before, was a fact. Many years back, if you could visit an airport, very good as a passenger, but at the cargo terminal was pathetic. But today, when a new airports are being planned, they are planning cargo separately. See, if you look at, I mean, Delhi Airport has done wonderful efforts of really increasing the cargo warehouses, the way they move and store the cargo there. Similarly, if the new airport at Noida coming up is also built to global standards. The Navi Mumbai new airport coming up is also built to global standards, more on the cargo specific. Dedicated freight corridors, the work has still been going on. It is yet to come up. But I think the key word here is building infrastructure. I think infrastructure is something which will lead us through really going forward. Being a country which is growing, and I think I can see those growth coming everywhere. So today, we really enjoy driving up, say, on the Delhi Mumbai expressway, or most of the expressways which are now built up all across the country, are actually helping our trucks improve and move cargo much faster, much better. Look at the trains. I mean, we've been importing locomotives, fully built locomotives from US, are now being the same standards handling here in India, which are capable of. So they pull those containerized trains, right, which go to the port. Uh, the new locomotives can now double haul, as in double storage and double the length. Just one locomotive. So I think the government has also worked very hard on this, and the dedicated freight corridor, which is through India, a private network, which will work. Dedicated trains for cargo will move in that, because right now the track is common both for a passenger train and a cargo train. And what eventually happens is a passenger train, say Vande Bharat or Rajdhani, take precedence. So cargo train ko rok do, because there's nobody to cry. Cargo doesn't talk, right? No box can speak a language. uh, so I think it makes sense to stop it. So now, being creating the dedicated freight corridors, which will be only the private trains which will work, go super speed, will connect a country. That will be very good for us. Our roads, so the trucks carrying cargo capacity, it's already, I've seen benefits in terms of reduction of freight times. The trucks are better maintained now, because if the same truck has to go through the same Uber cardboard setup multiple times, their axles broke, they had issues with tires and things like that. The better lifelong this thing. And today we have trucks like Mercedes Benz and Volvos flying in our country too. We are far better built, far better, superior to carry cargo. So certainly, infrastructure improvement is. I'm really seeing this will really help us grow better. There are better ports coming up, uh, with better equipment, better infrastructure at the seaports, at the airports. It's just beautiful change which is coming up. Beautiful.
So, I want to understand your perspective from two different aspects. So, for an entrepreneur who is already in your industry, or a new entrepreneur who wants to enter your industry, what would be your piece of advice? What are the things to look out for? What should they have in mind? What they are getting into? And what will their life look like 5 years from now?
Life will look very good to start with, but just a word of caution, or a word of advice, actually, not a caution. I think it's the devil is in the details.
Mhm.
And today's technology, most kids that I see, they just skim through things. Oh, okay, it's done. And they don't focus at the in-depth detail. And I think, I personally feel, devil lies in the detail. One should really go through every aspects of it. Now, see, there's a process to move something. The same process remains. The only thing is, from a manual process, it has become a automated or a digitalized process. But if you don't know all these steps which are there in it, you may really mess it up, right? People of newer generation I see have very good ideas, very strategically, very good, well placed, but they have very little patience. Patience runs out very, very quickly with them. So they would like to set up, design something strategically, come up with a strategy, but not implement it. So I think I personally feel that when they all these new generation, it's going to be a fantastic industry for sure. From the time that we started to where we are, and I see a huge potential for them to grow. To be honest, we were probably one of the least underpaid industries earlier, but today I think we're at par at any industry. People get paid very well, so there's great futures that they can build here, extremely, and all kinds of people. I mean, we have technology coming up, so you need people who understand tech, people who can understand a little bit of customs laws. That's always helpful, and then they can build careers. And today, with e-com coming in, which is a completely new zone, because I think everything is logistics. You order a meal from Zomato. What does Zomato do? It's a logistics company. It just goes and picks up a box from somewhere, drops a box somewhere. Logistics is just moving something from point A to point B, and all the entire gamut of activities which happen in between. A lot of opportunities, a lot of areas to strategize, grow, come up with something new. And I'm really proud the way people are really building up certain things. Zomato is a great example.
So, when we talk about any industry, it works as an ecosystem. It's
Yes,
never working in silo.
correct.
A manufacturing company would have logistics as the initial part of its value chain, as a part of its distribution system, right? So, when we talk about logistics as an industry, what does the ecosystem around logistics look like? And where do you see the most common problem statements that, let's say, new age entrepreneurs can, start researching about or look at, especially when we talk about 2025?
So you see, I see still a lot of transparency is yet to come in. See, we are the step brothers of uh, like a passenger. As I mentioned before, on the same vessel or on the same airline, the way you travel, cargo travels with you, just that you don't know, and cargo doesn't talk. Uh, but I think in coming times, so today, many years back, if you look at it, how were you doing your reservations or bookings or tickets? You had a travel agent to call to, who would in turn speak to an airline or a shipping line or get you reservations done. I think same with cargo today. People yet call us, but then you had so many websites which came up. Our homegrown story, Make My Trip, such a success. And today you have multiple similar options to go, choose, see the fares yourself, buy, pay, buy, and go. I think the same model I personally feel will be the future in logistics. It will no longer be a hidden thing. Okay, I'm buying it for 10 and I'm selling to you for 20 or 15, or you have a good feel that I made more money or I cheated you or things like that. It'll become a transparent AI driven system which will gauge the traffic, which will gauge the pricing, which will all become online. And it's already coming up. I can see that. I mean, certain shipping lines have already given uh, on a day to day pricing, they're no longer long term contracts. Earlier, it used to be a bulk contract that somebody will give, and that's how you will do it. And same used to go with the passenger. I see that will be a big change coming in. There's still time for it. A lot of parameters need to be checked and changed. But eventually, more and more people will start using an online tool to go book anything themselves and then just move the freight. That's it.
So
Yeah,
we see a lot of companies coming in sort of just like we have aggregator for cabs and
correct,
Ubers, right? So we are seeing a lot of companies come to aggregate this
correct.
fragmented area of LCL cargoes,
Yes.
right? So that's one of the areas. But what is your comment on that? And do you see any,
Yeah,
sort
so
of
there are
tipping point
aggregators
going
even
forward?
today, but I think it's again B2B.
Mhm.
It's not happening B2C at the moment. Uh, uh, and that's what I'm telling you. It's what I'm going to see is more and more B2C coming up than more B2B happening in that zone. Uh, and aggregator is going to come up in very different way. I mean, today if you have to say drop or your dad has to send you a courier to you in Germany, what does he do? Either he'll come to the office and look for the guy who's you have a contract with here, or coming across you see some sign which has a FedEx and a DHL and a Blue Dart and a TNT written, and he'll go, अच्छा ठीक है ये packet मेरे बेटी को भेज दे. But has he looked at an option to go online and see, because there are none available at the moment? So there are I personally feel these are the future businesses which will keep coming in. You'll have websites that you can just go, click, see, put your weight, dimensions, and that's it. Origin, destination, and that's it. And then you have all options to pick up. You want to pay with FedEx, X transit time, Y price. You want to go with the slower service, and this and that, whichever way, and then you pick and choose and move it through. So I think those advancements, technology developments, aggregation, transparencies are all going to come up. So it's going to become very, very exciting. More competitive for sure, but certainly very exciting as well.
So, I mean, some of these problem statements are more on the front end,
Yes.
the consumer facing sort of a area.
Yeah.
But when we talk operationally, let's say we talk about trade documentation, the
Yeah.
complexities of it, where do you see areas of gaps and improvements there?
Oh, lots of it. First of all, our customers think that the biggest myth in my industry, people think that we manage it all. But trust me, we don't control anything. I don't own airports. We don't own ports. We don't own airlines. We don't own shipping lines. What do we own? Nothing. We just hired some space in air. I mean, some space could be in a container, could be in an aircraft, and move something from here to there. That's it. Neither the container is mine, shipping line is not mine, airline is not mine, port is not mine, seaports are not mine, truck is not mine. Yet we deliver warehouses to warehouses. Warehouses also at times are not ours. Yet we really manage and deliver it all. So on the back end side, the process is going to improve a lot, which are a lot of challenges at the moment. There are still human errors which do take place because everything still is not 100% system driven. There are still certain areas which require a physical man to be done or physical input to be given. So one wrong input can really mess up the whole consignment, and it happens. You have to file manifests with customs each time a consignment is coming in or going out. You have to put in everything that you move has a unique code. It's called the HSN code. It's a harmonized system of codes moved globally. So you punch in a wrong number somewhere, the whole thing can go wrong. Your duty calculation could be wrong, and things like that. So a lot of synchronization in the back end has to yet happen. I think a lot of learnings from our team members have to come in terms of education. We need to continue skilling them with all the processes to understand what is really what. And that is an issue which is the back end, and I think can be solved largely by skilling. So we do take a lot of efforts to try and upskill our people, but that's one of the key things that we must do.
So now we are going to switch to some short questions.
Short, quick.
Very quick, short questions. So, what is one of the most unusual cargoes that your company has dealt with? Like
Many. Oh, we've moved windmill blades to fully built locomotives to the bridge that I told you. Okay, I must tell you. We've built all the V-Works. If you've seen any V-Work, there's one across down the same lane, built by us. So we moved everything, all the equipment that you see there, everything, tables, chairs, lights, everything. We've imported it, flooring, warehoused it, delivered it, and then when we were signing it up with WeWork at that time, they told us, "Hey guys, can you also not just come and install it?" And I said, "Boss, mera kaam hai, move karne ka. I don't know how to fix a chair." But he said, "No, do it." So we actually hired an engineering company who could do this for us. So our job was not just to move it, custom clear it, warehouse it, deliver it to the site. And mind you, delivery was always last minute because परसों inauguration है और तब तक उनका वो light, ceiling, fans, the whole thing has to be ready till I place it, right? And then they will give me. So our teams would function non-stop around the night, around the day to ensure that the deadline is met. Now how to place the sofa here, how to put the chair here. And very proudly, at a point of time, we handled almost every WeWork built in India. Till I think 2020, we lost that count or we gave it up during COVID. But just before COVID, I think February 2020, we handle any WeWork till that date being done, including the one down the lane, was done by us. Very proudly, I can say I used to have a pass, ID pass, because I could visit any WeWork across the country.
I think that's a charm.
Just in excess, and when I'm on business tours and I had some spare time, I could just scan it, enter, sit, have my coffee, do my work, take my cab, and go
That's
back
a
anywhere.
good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
So
a good one,
I've had some
yeah.
perks too.
Quite enjoyable.
Yeah,
I
quite
was
enjoyable.
especially
Yeah,
for
so
your
we've
workers,
done
yeah.
very interesting work with WeWork. It was very vibrant environment. You could see kids coming in. Bangalore is the first one. So they've done very well. Very proud.
So, what is one of the myths about your industry that you would want to bust for
I
everyone?
just told you, we manage everything. We control everything. We control customs, we control airlines, we control shipping lanes, we control none. Biggest myth. We have no control, nothing.
Whenever we, where we sort of see any industry as a long term for us, there is one part of the work that we absolutely love. So, what is it about the logistics industry? Maybe boring to others, but is very, very interesting for you and you geek out on. Absolutely.
I love to see bad revenues in my billing.
That's with every businessman.
Yeah, that is on a lighter note. But I think the most tedious job in our industry is probably the documentation part of it. And you may call me an old timer, but I still love to see how an able is generated, how in depth the deal has been seen by people. There are a lot of rows, columns, and it's in the back of my hand to have a look at. Really, really enjoy still seeing those documentations, still seeing how people have prepared it, and also finding errors. How people do it because they've not gone into the details and they've missed certain things and how they've shown it. Yeah, so documentation is really, really interesting. Track and trace, very, very interesting field. Out of the blue, suddenly I'll see just a cargo kahan pahuncha, and I'll quietly just go and tap it and then try and see where is it and what is
I think
it.
that's with most of us. Like, even
I
as
know.
consumers, we'll be like, okay, on its way.
On
But
its
where
way.
exactly?
Where exactly is
Which-
it on its way? So yeah, that bit of technology I quite like. So yeah.
So, if you weren't in logistics, would we find you as a full-time marathon runner
No.
or playing a tabla somewhere?
No,
like,
no. Where do you learn about my tabla? No. I don't know. I think I would have been a traveler, a guide. I've been more up in the hills and tours, driving. My passion. Yeah, that's what I would have been doing. I've been a nomad. I've been seeing different parts of the world, which I love doing even currently today. I do it even today. So yeah, I would have been more of that kind of a guy than doing anything else. Music and all the running is all just extracurricular, a little bit here and there. But largely, I would love to see the world, love to see my country, maybe travel operator who will take people around with tours, but see unknown territories, see newer places. That's something like that. I would.
so probably be that part of the plane that speaks.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, if I were to ask you about a few of the tech tools or applications that you swear by during your work day.
But they're very specific to our industry. You may not have heard of it or used it. It's not general. But there are just certain tools and technologies that we use which are in-house for us. So, like there's a global software called CargoWise, extremely good, analytical, gives us understanding of loadability patterns, and it can hold the whole gamut of things. And there are multiple such similar tools which get developed over time and again. So there are a lot of tools which we use, which are more industry specific, which are extremely good. So there's no point mentioning this. Probably most of the your listeners may not understand all that because it's not in public domain. Nobody will buy that tool unless you use it. But yeah, there are a lot of tools that we use. Another fascinating tool is where we connect some express cargo. We have some agents all across the country, One end is tied up with them, one end is integrated with FedEx, and they just go online, do book, move everything. So there's a lot of ease of business tools that we continue using within our logistics stream, and some of them are very, very good.
Awesome. Okay. Is there a book recommendation or a lecture or podcast that you keep going back to specifically for your industry?
Oh, no, I'm an avid reader, but I don't think so. I've read books from my industry per se, if you ask me.
Probably you know a lot already about it.
I think experience teaches you.
Yeah.
3.5 decades, seen the world. I think I've been to most countries in the world. Seen how logistics is handled, say from a developed country to developing countries such as India, or in underdeveloped countries in some parts of the world that I've been to, witnessed how it is done. So I think it's a great learning that really happens from that. So there's no such book, but my book recommendations are very different.
That's okay.
They're nothing to do with logistics, if you ask me. I think it's there are certain books. I think that will go back on my little bit of a spirituality journey, if you say. But I think autobiography of a yogi, if somebody has read it, by Paramahansa Yogananda, is very good. I must have read it about 10 times. Okay, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, or The Secret, all very interesting books. So, I think books are just coming to my mind offhand.
Okay. All right. I think one of the things that you mentioned gave me another question that I want to ask you. I mean, since you've traveled the world, you've seen how logistics differ.
Oh, yeah.
And, when we talk about a developing nation, developed nation, where do you think we stand as a country? I know you said infrastructure plays and will continue to play a key role in how we evolve. But how much of a gap do you see at this point? How is it done differently in developed nations? What is your perception around that?
We are not yet as tech savvy as compared to really a developed nation. You want to see technology, see where China is. You want to see technology, see where Japan is. US is really way ahead of us. I mean, see, in certain of these countries, there's always a shortage of labor.
Yes.
And India is blessed that you can have for the same job 10 people. So they're doing bits, and there's just one guy there. Like a small example, say in the US, it's the same trucker who's a driver, who's a supervisor, who'll go and deliver the loads, who'll pick up the loads, who does everything, and all he has just equipments. Physically, हमारे यहाँ की देश की तरह डब्बे नहीं उठाता. But you go to any warehouse in the country, state-of-the-art warehouse in the country, loaders are still loading the boxes with their hands onto the trucks, right? So from that standpoint, I think it's probably cheaper than to have that equipment helping them load. It's also giving jobs to people. I mean, there are pluses and minuses both sides, but there's also handling issues. So I mean, when I first time I saw it, कि यार यही delivery वाला है, यही driver है, और वो हाथ तक नहीं लगाता cargo को. Just equipment managing it through. Those things are really there. Today, so we move another very interesting cargo for one of our great customers. They make robos. And those robos are deployed inside most warehouses today, say of an Amazon or an Apple or a Walmart, which just digitally place cargo from this rack to that rack, bring it out for delivery, put it back somewhere else. I haven't seen that technology being used by most largest warehouses operators in the country. They have systems, so they know where and how it's located, which is put where. But they're still using manual people to go. They have forklift machines, they have high loaders, which will they go and pick it up and deliver. But fully automated with no human involvement, I'm yet to see in India. I think, and that's something where we should be heading very soon, because I've seen that operation live. you'll be surprised. It's like a wave sea of those robots going zig, 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 zig. They don't crash
Yeah.
into each other. They have sensors, and each one is doing their own job, going, picking it up, bringing it up, duck, 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 duck. And I very proudly export whole lot of them from India to US, Canada on a week, on a day, or a monthly basis. So we really need to come up to that level. But again, we're a very cost sensitive industry.
Yes.
If I tell you that Zomato food order is 500, my delivery charge will be 500, you're never going to buy from me
Of course.
because ये नहीं होगा. But if I tell you वहाँ रोबो है, किसी का हाथ नहीं लग रहा, you don't know how good or bad the food has been, the way it has been packed, how hygienic it is, you're not bothered. You just ordered, you don't know how hygienic it was. As long as it was hot and tasty, you had it. I'll be honest. But nobody here is all about cost in India, and people have to learn that they have to pay when it comes to better handlings, better hygiene standards, better standards to do things like that. And I think eventually it'll come up. And they had to do bots simply because they call it bots. Simply because the volume was too high. Labor is too expensive.
Yeah.
It is very difficult for them to manage it. And I think India is driving towards those numbers, which will make sustainable sense for them to also deploy such things. And maybe it's also already getting deployed. Maybe in warehouses, people have already started using it, but it has to come to a level where it's zero human intervention.
Yes.
And we should be reaching the stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have worked on the side of building a gripper. I was in a robotics class, and so we did this build this blind grippers, and I think those are the kind of automation robots that are
correct.
used in the warehouses. I've seen one of those, the KUKA robots in the Mercedes factory.
Yeah, right, correct. You're right,
The ones that
you're right,
you're talking
right,
about. And my perception of India has been, I mean, we've seen all of these Blinkit coming in and Instamart coming in. The kind of agility, the
Speed.
labor that we have
Yeah.
in India, or the cost of labor that provides us is great.
Awesome.
And so, like, if we can sort of identify those areas where automation is great because the handling costs become lower, you get more precision, more accuracy, and then have the last mile or delivery probably taken care by the advantages that we have as a country. I think if that is done, then we can have a very smooth, efficient system that is not only optimized on the cost, but is also agile and is still providing us things just in time. So yeah, that's my
No, I
thought
think
about
you're
it.
right. I think you gave a very great example of Blinkit or Swiggy. No country in the world.
No
has that.
country, I mean,
10 minute mein, 8 minute mein, so that's why we are way ahead. And that's why probably a developing country is better than a developed country, because
yeah.
they have certain rules, sets, and that's all what they have to do. So they're only used to going, say in America, used to going to a Costco,
Yeah.
shopping in an X pattern is cheaper. But then they have to physically drive, park, pick up the card, show your ID card, enter, buy, pay, come back. It's the same routine. They don't, other than Amazon deliveries, they don't have a Blinkit to say, yaar, mera bhi chini khatam ho gayi hai, or I just needed 200 gram of chini. They still have to go to a store and buy a 5 kilo packet and come back.
I think it's all around time, right? I think if you look at it, time is money.
Time is money, absolutely.
So
Time
all
is
of
essence.
that, all of it adds up. If you're spending time going somewhere, doing
Absolutely.
it's not just the price of the commodity you're
No,
paying;
you're
it's
right.
the entire time that you're
Absolutely.
spending doing.
You pay for a, see, you said you ordered some flowers or whatever you did, or some puja ke liye, whatever. So 100 rupees, but you paid 30 rupees delivery charge. You didn't mind 30%. 30%, guys, is the margin. Generally, my industry and international, it works on a single digit at best, or early double digit. But 30%, very good. So it's great business sense to do it, yeah. But you're willing to pay because it saves you the time, effort, money, everything. Because you would have spent that much money on fuel. You would have spent that much money of the value of your time to go do that. So that's the reason. See, everything in life is VFM, value for money. Now, that value for money question, I can say 30%, but that value for money for your 30 rupees, money. Those better have it home.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I had a startup in the taxi space very early on. So I
No,
started.
really?
Yeah. Last year of my undergrad, I started this company called Taxi 121, which was like an Uber for India. So,
Really?
so I do understand the concept of lean time, So, and that's what we were trying to optimize at the time for the drivers that were there. And the similar concept exists in the logistics industry as well. When we talk about lean times and sort of that extra effort that you have to do, go pick stuff and all of those things. So, what are those areas of optimization that still exist in your industry that can be optimized, made more efficient, looked at from an efficiency point of
So
view?
I think on the we do more of interactive stuff, and but on a domestic logistics side, so there are a lot of routes which have empty truck legs. Let me give an example. So we do equipment and parts for building a locomotive, a railway engine. Now, this is by a company called Wabtec, which is originally used to be GE, General Electric. Now they build up their manufacturing facility in a place called Marhora, which is in Bihar. Everything comes into Bombay or Delhi. Now these trucks go to Marhora, but that's the only factory which is there. So what do they get back? Nothing. It's an empty
Yeah.
leg. But so there are many such remote locations that happen. So then they have to come back to a larger city, maybe like a Patna, then go to the transport union area,
Like a hub and spoke
or
model.
hub and spoke or
Yeah.
transport nagar to see. But I personally feel all this, if it's more developed from an app point of view,
Like
to
you
say
just
that the
say,
truck,
okay, like
truck
this
owner
empty.
now puts up that, okay, I'll have this empty leg truck coming in on Y date. And if somebody wants, I'm willing to give it at
Yeah.
1/10 the price or whatever. I just want my load to be filled up because anything extra that he's filling is better.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's those kind of technologies, those kinds of things available to even a user, even a consumer, even the guy who hires those trucks. If that visibility starts coming to them, okay, there's an empty leg coming from here to there. We can do this.
Absolutely.
We can use it. So that's how it is.
Great. Yeah, so we have one startup idea right here.
Oh, I can give you many.
Please go ahead. Our audience is that's what they're looking for. Okay.
Wow.
So I think with that we've come to the end of our podcast.
Nice.
And thank you for joining us.
Sure. Thank you so much again. I think it was very interesting because you took me back through my journey. At times in working, you forget. Like I remembered out of the blue the project that we did for the Kedarnath Shrine.
So I think I'm sure it's a very pivotal
Yeah, it
moment in your journey.
Yeah,
So
correct.
I'm glad
Absolutely.
I could
No, thank you so
bring
much.
back
Really,
the memories. Yeah.
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay. So we have come to the end of our podcast for today. That is around logistics, and we learned great things. But one of the key takeaways was the key is in the depth of the details. So till the next time we see you on a podcast, let's look at what is really behind the scenes of every order that we are getting in 10 minutes. And let's keep that spirit going where we look into the details, we identify ideas, and get into building opportunities right from there. So, see you then.